Good day, grade 11s. So today we're going to do part 2 of activity 10.13. Today I want to do the nominal accounts. We're going to close the accounts as well as allocate the right parts to the right cost accounts. So let's start in the nominal accounts. You will see we already did sales and cost of sales in the previous video. Raw materials issued and indirect material cost I will do in the next video. So I'm just going to start from salaries and wages today. So we want to allocate the 343000 to the right parts. On page 374 in your textbook, you'll see that under salaries and wages, they give us three different allocations. Wages paid to factory workers, salaries paid to factory security, and salaries paid to office workers. Okay, so firstly, I want to start with the wages paid to factory workers. So on the credit side of salaries and wages, I'm going to write 2018 February 28th. I'm going to allocate that part to the factory workers. In other words, it's direct labor cost because it's the workers in the factory itself. So direct labor cost, and that's an amount of 203,000. Then the next part is salaries paid to factory security. So they are part of the factory, but they don't actually do the physical production of it. So they will only be part of the factory overheads. So factory overheads, that's an amount of 36,000. And then the final part of salaries and wages is the salaries paid to office workers. In other words, office workers means admin, so administration costs. And that's an amount of 104,000. So remember, gents, we're going to book these over to either direct material cost or direct labor cost, factory overheads, administration costs, or sales and distribution costs. That's the different options. Okay, so let's just quickly close this account, and then we can go write it over in the contra accounts. Okay, so let's start with the direct labor cost. 2018 February the 28th, it's from salaries and wages, and that's an amount of 203,000. Then, excuse me guys, big mistake there, that should be indirect labor cost, just a little error there. Salaries and wages, that's what happens if you work too fast, guys, don't do that. So then the second part is for our factory overheads. So 2018, February 28th, salaries and wages. That's an amount of 36,000. And then the final part is administration costs. So 2018, February, salaries and wages. And that's an amount of 104,000. So then the next one is unemployment insurance fund contributions. They tell us it's to the factory, 4,520. You will know all advantages for the employees gets paid to direct labor cost. That's 4520. Let's make sure I write it in the right account this time. So it's UIF contributions. That is an amount of 4520. Okay, let's continue with the next nominal accounts. Next up is repairs and maintenance. So repairs and maintenance, they tell us repairs for the sewing machines was 16,200. Sewing machines, in other words, it's part of the machinery, so it will go to factory overheads. I'm just using shorted abbreviations to save time, guys. Don't do it. Write it out completely, please. That's 16,200, and then the other 2,000 goes for the delivery vehicle. In other words, it was to get the delivery of the products to the client. So that will be our sales and distribution costs, 2,000. Then we close this account. Then we go and write it over in our cost accounts. So that will be repairs and maintenance. That is 16,200 in factory overheads, and in sales and distribution costs we'll have 2018 February 28th repairs and maintenance and that is 2,000. Okay, let's continue with rent expense. Rent expense, they tell us that 67,200 is for the factory. In other words, that will be our factory overheads as well. 67,200. And then they tell us that 16,800 is for the office. If it's for the office, it means it's for admin. So admin costs 16,800. And that will close our account. 84,000, 84,000. And then we take it over to factory overheads, rent expense, and that is 67,200. And then our admin costs, rent expense, and that is 16,800. Okay, so then next up will be municipal levies. They tell us that water and electricity for the factory is 6558. So the factory, that means it will go to factory overheads. And that is 6558. And the other part goes to our office. If it goes to our office, it's for admin. So administration costs. My space is just small, guys, so excuse me. 2412. And then we go write it up in our factory overheads, that is municipal levies 6558, and the other part will be in our admin costs, municipal levies, and that is 2412. Okay, gents, so just close this account. 8970. Then the next one is stationery. It's for the office. For the office means it's for admin, so administration costs. 1236. We're going to write it in the administration costs account. Stationery 1236. Okay, James, then the next one is insurance. For the factory, it's 8,000. For the factory means it will be for factory overheads. It's 8,000. And then the other part is 3,000 for the office. Once again, office administration costs. 3,000. Close the account. We can take it over to our factory overheads. And that was for insurance, insurance. 8,000. And then our admin costs, insurance, 3,000. Right, next up is our telephone. So you can renting telephone will be for admin. So they tell us it's for the office. It's the full part, so it will be admin costs, administration costs. That's 13,580. Then we take it over to our admin costs. Telephone, 13,580. Okay, gents, then our next one is depreciation. They tell us depreciation for factory equipment is 8,000. So for factory equipment, so it's machines and so on, that will be out to our factory overheads. Excuse me, gents, it's not very neat. So it will be 8,000. Then there's 4,100 for a delivery vehicle. They tell us explicitly it's for the delivery vehicle, which means it's part of our sales and distribution costs. That is 4,100. And then the final 1,560 is for office equipment. Office equipment means administration costs. 1,560. So then let's go put it in our factory overheads. That is for depreciation, 8,000. Then in our sales and distribution account, depreciation, it's 4,100. And in our administration costs, it's 1,560. Then our next, well, let's just quickly close the account again. Please also draw all your lines, gents. Then advertisements. Advertisements is obviously to get the product to the client. So that means that it is for our sales and distribution cost. It's a form of distributing the product. So 2541. Then we take it over to our sales and distribution costs. It's advertisements. 2541. And our next account is bad debts. If we think about it, it's regarding our clients. In other words, it has to do with our sales. So sales and distribution costs. The 2363. And then we're going to put it in our sales and distribution costs account. That is bad debts. 2363. Then our commission paid account, they tell us it's commission paid to marketing person. In other words, it's also a way to get our product to the client, so it's also distributing way. So sales and distribution costs 12,000. Close the account and go write it over in sales and distribution costs. So it's commission paid. So you gents will see all of this is basically the same. You just have to know which account goes where. You have to figure out which account fits which description. And then second last one is fuel. It's a vehicle expense, fuel for delivery vehicle. So once again, it's to get the product to the client. So it will be sales and distribution costs, 12,300. And let's go put it in our sales and distribution account. It's for fuel, 12,300. And then our last one is bank costs. Bank costs obviously has to do with your bank account, which means it will be for our administration. So it's administration costs. And that's 15,210. Close the account, close the account. And then we can go and put it in our administration account. Bank costs. And that was 15,210. Okay, gents, so I will close that cost account in the next video, as well as do the final balance sheet accounts, as well as the profit and loss account. If you have any questions regarding this work or anything in this video or the previous video, please ask me or Mrs. Cronje or Mr. de Blanche if you have any questions. Have a nice day, gents.